Okay. We've got so a final discussion, which Mike is going to lead. About,
Before I start, Peter, roughly what time do we have?
well, in principle, I don't like to say this, but we've got an hour because it's an hour.
No, I was just because I'm on a different time zone, I wasn't sure. So okay,
let me hope it doesn't take an hour, but
I just want to get going on two subjects, each of which can be done relatively quickly, I hope. John Torday, the ANPA organization is managed, whatever, by a small number of people, which we call the steering group. And the steering group does things like organizing this meeting and so on. Okay, I'm speaking now, please, to the steering group. I'd like to reflect that we have discussed the future of ANPA, and we've acknowledged that we had to join the Zoom and do Zoom and face-to-face things. My underlying assumption is that we will be more involved with Zoom-related parts of the, call it, communication of the results of ANPA thinking and so on. So I think that we should do a better job of how we handle the Zoom part, particularly as it grows, and maybe there are more people on Zoom than there are physically face-to-face. As you know, over the years in Cambridge and so on, we gradually evolved how to manage each day, and there was somebody in charge. I think the role that should be done, like Peter Rowlands has at the moment, is that person should be the interface between the Zoomers. And if we change the timetable, or there's an interesting thing to be followed up, or somebody's given an intervention which is longer than the original speech, they should stop them. You know, those sort of housekeeping things. So my idea is to just kick around, how could we improve? Now, one possibility is that if everybody in the room actually was logged on via a smartphone, then we could all, in a sense, be in the same space. That's just a crazy idea I had this morning. So anybody thinking about how we can improve the meeting as a whole?
Mike, the suggestion that everybody should be logged in to a device is a good one. I've done something similar like that recently, and it works very well.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks very much.
Sounds horrible. Yeah, it sounds awful. But Andrew, you're saying something.
I think a way to improve the Zoom experience would be to use Teams.
To use what?
Teams, it's a different,
The Microsoft version, I think, is better. And it enables you to exchange documents much more easily. So I think it's more open for an educational experience. That's my suggestion. I think if everyone was, I also like the idea of everyone using a phone, creepy though it sounds, because we're all, as you say, in one space, and all our names are on the screen. In a minute, we are divided.
I've spent my whole life avoiding getting a smartphone.
Oh, yeah, who doesn't have one?
I don't have one. I don't want one.
We're together.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought, here's the answer. Use a very old-fashioned one.
I don't want one at all,
No.
however old-fashioned it is.
Even despite all that, the face-to-face meeting is very important still.
Yeah, nobody wants
May I say something?
Yeah.
I think that because my wife, she's doing a lot of this in her business life, and it all comes down to the person who's in charge of the meeting. So like the organizer. So you have one person that's in charge of the meeting, that's handling the Zoom the whole time, that understand how to mute or unmute all the participants in one, like using the technology, so nobody forgets it, is responsible for the camera, how it goes, where people should stand, so we have correct recording, and who knows to speak out and be angry at participants who is not quiet, who is not starting on time, and if they're going over time, it's basically just saying, okay, that's it, now we have to stop and we'll follow the time.
Yeah.
Because it all comes down to honoring the timetables, honoring the rules, have all that in place, and have one person who can do that.
Right.
So we don't change who's in in charge all the time, and then it's one person, then it's the next person. So
And
that's,
the matter of handling documents, of course, is important.
of course, yeah,
When we're doing Zoom to Zoom,
yeah,
we often say, oh, I have this paper, I'm sending it, and you
Yeah.
can still do that.
yeah. So if you have one who is very skilled and experienced in this kind of job, then I think it will work easily, both for the participants on Zoom and the participants in live. But we need that one coordinating person who's in charge, and then we have to follow the rules, or if not, we are told to stop speaking, go somewhere else, behave nicely, and then the meeting will continue. Because that's in the best interest of everybody.
It can go very well with the right technical aid. Peter and I have participated in a conference where people are speaking in a foreign language, and they have translators, and you can push a button on the computer, and you get a perfect online simultaneous translation of the.
Of course. So that's just like somebody who knows how to use the technique and that can control the meeting and the timeline. That's it. That's my opinion.
Okay, Aldrich, thank you very much. This is a really coherent presentation.
I'd like to carry you over to the restaurant and the pub, but we don't know how to do that yet.
Well, we could do Zoom in the pub or restaurant, but don't want to do that.
That would be very nice.
Okay, Peter, I promised to have 2 questions. I want to give an example of something which I thought was brushed over too quickly. When Quantum Doug was wrapping up after giving a very nice talk on top of Ulrich's talk about his father-in-law, there was a proposal which was to investigate what you might call the follow-on of Manthi's work. Now, I think that deserved a few minutes of discussion. So let's say Ulrich's thing is granted and there's somebody who's completely in charge of the meeting, and they're not just there, turning people on and off by muting them, but they're actually listening to the content. And if this proposal comes up, either it should be recorded, we will discuss that later, or let's have 10 minutes on this and that, but not just to let it float and individuals collectively do or do not do anything. So I'm particularly interested in what Mike Manthi did, and I would like to use that not just as an example of how to follow up, but also to actually know whether anybody is interested in working with Doug and me and maybe 1 or 2 other people on that stuff.
I am.
Who was that? Said I?
Nicola.
That's Nicola.
Okay. Hello, Nicola.
Hi.
I have, of course, a natural interest in Mike's work as well, but I don't have, I believe, the capability to, in a mathematical sense, understand all these things. But whatever I can help with, I would like to. What I can say is I probably have more of Mike's paper from earlier works, which could be interesting for you when you're trying to look into it. In regards to that, I have one question. Actually, when we emptied things from Mike's house after his death, I found a big manuscript, like 400 pages of a book from '87. Mike have marked it a draft and with a title, The Glass Mountain. Have anybody of you heard anything about that manuscript, that book of Mike from '87?
Never heard any me.
Okay, so there is, I believe there is something from Mike's earlier days. It's around 400 pages, and it's about information, it's about synchronization and a lot of things, and also things about co-occurrences and things. So I think at that time in his life, he actually wrote a lot, but I believe it had never been published. So that is,
Group of people to look at it.
yeah, so that I would like to have like a small group, like in confidence to look at that. and look it through and then see if there's something like interesting in that, what Mike actually did in that time of his life. So Michael Horner,
I'm in.
yeah, I could maybe like, if you can send me your email address.
Yeah.
I will send you a copy if you're interested in like reading this manuscript and give me your opinion about his thinking.
I'll be happy to do that. You can get my email from Nicola.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, so that would be interesting. So whatever I can help with facilitating papers and things Mike maybe didn't share with you guys, could probably shed a little bit light on what he was thinking.
Right.
Yeah.
Michael, another 2 cents. I have for a long time been meaning to decipher his use of Clifford algebras. And so if we might settle on one of his papers and talk about that.
There you go. A team is forming.
Yeah.
I've one small proposal which came originally from Grenville. In the Peer Noy's 90th book, I was dragged in to produce what's called a management view of ANPA East. And it was surprising that that turned out to be quite a popular part of the thing. It wasn't to do with content in the normal sense of ANPA. It was just a record of everything that happened in ANPA East. And what Grenville suggested was that since the database, as it were, finished in 2012, that there should be a little project to bring it up to date to the latest. As you know, there were 109 people classified as speakers and 444 presentations in that period. It's probably about double that now. Anyway, that's a proposal that I more or less agreed to in principle with Grenville.
Great.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you. Yeah.
Have you made any progress at recovering the original data at all? Mike? Is there, Mike?
you there, Michael? Michael Horner, are you there?
Hello.
Excuse me, my smartphone decided to ring and I tried to block the noise that it was making. Sorry about that. I am here again.
Yes.
Did you have any joy in finding any of the spreadsheets?
Yes, I found all the spreadsheets and Lou gave me almost the latest version, which was sent to when he was doing the editorial stuff. So I've got the framework and I've got the databases up to 2012.
Fantastic. Yeah, happy to contribute to that.
Anything further to do with this business side of things? No. Nothing from the floor? Anything from Zoom?
Nothing from me. I've had my share today.
Okay, well, I'll declare the meeting closed then. Thank you very much to everybody who participated.
Thank you.
I'll switch off the recording.
Chinese.